Welcome, friends. Today, the topic we will humbly explore and investigate together is Roman road network and water engineering. Please listen carefully and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you in advance. Let's begin. A road is not just a pile of stones. It is the signature of a civilization. And water is not merely a necessity, but the very essence of life flowing through the veins of an empire. A dream that began in the 3rd century BCE. Rome shaped time with stone, and the future with water. But how were these marvels of engineering built? And why do they still stand after 2,000 years? Welcome to the channel Reflections of Time. If you're eager to discover the extraordinary moments where human history meets engineering genius, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Now, let us uncover the brilliance behind the stones. Rome, the empire built with roads. Rome conquered not just with swords, but also with stone. After every victorious battle, the empire's most vital tool was constructed, a road. In Rome, a road was not merely a transportation route, it was an instrument of control, communication, and unity. The first stone-paved road, the Via Appia, was built in 312 BCE. And that was just the beginning. With over 100,000 kilometers of road, the Roman network stretched across the empire like a web. Each road was planned, calculated, and built to strict standards. These roads were used not only for military movement but also for trade, communication, and cultural exchange. A fish caught at one port could be sold in the capital within days, a rebellion in a border town could be reported to Rome within hours. The geometry of stone, how Roman roads were built. A Roman road was never constructed haphazardly. First, the terrain was selected carefully, avoiding areas prone to water accumulation. Then, a 4-layered system was implemented. Statumen, the solid foundation of large stones at the bottom. Rudus, a mix of gravel and mortar laid on top. Nucleus, a finer mix of gravel and sand, serving as a leveling layer. Summum dorsum, the top paving layer, typically made of basalt. Each stone was hand-cut and meticulously placed, with gaps filled using fine mortar. The slope was calculated so precisely that roads were given a slight arch to allow rainwater to drain to the sides. The Appian Way and strategic routes. The Appian Way is one of the most famous roads in history, not just in Rome. Stretching from the capital to the port of Brundisium, it was not only a military route but a political message: Rome can reach anywhere. Each road had a strategic purpose. Via Aurelia protected the western coastlines. Via Flaminia connected the north. Via Egnatia opened a gate to the Balkans. The central reference point of all Roman roads was the golden milestone known as the Miliarium Aureum. All roads were connected to it. So the phrase, "all roads lead to Rome," was not just a saying, it was a geographical fact. The strategic and military role of roads. Roman roads were designed for legions. A Roman legion could march 25 kilometers per day. Thanks to the roads, this movement was continuous and reliable. In emergencies, the postal system was activated, the cursus publicus. This was the state's official courier system for transporting letters, orders, news, and supplies. Along the roads were rest stations called mantio. These stations allowed for changing horses, obtaining food, and transmitting information efficiently. Rome's systems were far ahead of their time. Rome and water, the liquid form of engineering. Rome dominated not only on land but also in water. Because Rome was a civilization that could command water. And it did so with aqueducts. Aqueducts, stone arteries from mountains to cities. Aqueducts typically began at natural springs in the mountains, using only gravity to transport water to the cities. These channels sometimes passed underground, through tunnels, or over high stone arches. One of the most remarkable examples is Aqua Claudia, completed in 52 CE. It spanned over 36 kilometers, with some arches reaching over 20 meters in height. These structures also reflected Rome's aesthetic sensibilities. Each arch was a work of art crafted with masterful masonry. Water distribution network, a marvel of planning. Transporting water was not enough, Rome established an advanced system to distribute it within cities. Large reservoirs called castellum aquae were built. From there, water was directed to public fountains, bathhouses, toilets, select private residences. Water pressure was precisely calculated, and overflow channels ensured safety. Maintenance tunnels were incorporated at intervals to prevent blockages. Roman baths and the culture of water. In Rome, water was a way of life. Baths were not only for hygiene but also served as social hubs. These grand structures, called thermae, sometimes accommodated tens of thousands of people throughout the day. Example, the baths of Caracalla. These included swimming pools, steam rooms, libraries, and gymnasiums. Thanks to water carried by aqueducts, hot, warm, and cold pools were built across the complex. Sewage miracle, Cloaca Maxima. Rome's underground engineering wonder, the Cloaca Maxima. Believed to have been built in the 6th century BCE, it directed all the city's wastewater to the Tiber River. In some parts, its width exceeded 2 meters. Over time, the system expanded with added side channels. Thanks to this, Rome, despite its vast population, was able to control disease and foul odors. Urban planning, engineering meets city design. Roman roads and water systems shaped not only infrastructure but also urban layouts. Every new Roman colony was laid out using a grid system. At the center was the Forum, surrounded by a basilica, baths, temples, and intersecting roads. Infrastructure came first. Rome would bring water and build roads before constructing homes. Even today, this approach is considered a reference in modern urban planning. Construction power, materials, labor, and techniques. Roman engineers created wonders from ordinary stones. The most used materials included pozzolana, volcanic ash-based Roman concrete travertine and basalt, durable stones for roads and water systems, lead pipes, used for water transportation. Most of the workforce consisted of free citizens and military engineers. For massive projects, slaves and prisoners were also used. Engineers, called agrimensors, calculated the angle of each stone with precision. Rome's legacy, still standing today. Roman roads still exist. Many European cities were built atop Roman roads. Some aqueducts are still in use, and sewer systems have been integrated into modern infrastructure. The Pont du Gard in France, the Aqueduct of Segovia in Spain, the Valens Aqueduct in Turkey. All are living examples of Rome's engineering legacy. Conclusion: more than an empire. Rome's true power did not lie solely in its army, but in its engineering. They did not merely stack stones. They shaped them with knowledge, planning, and patience. And what they left behind was not just roads, but an entire civilization. A stone only gains meaning with intellect. Water only brings life when guided. Rome combined the two so masterfully that even after 2,000 years, we still speak of it. If you enjoy diving into the depths of history, don't forget to subscribe to the Reflections of Time channel, like the video, and leave a comment. See you soon.